Hi everyone. So today we're going to work on writing equations of lines. So this is kind of important because we want to be able to use this to make predictions and so on and so forth. And we're going to see that when we start getting into more so other types of equations. So we're just going to review writing equations given slope, y-intercept, or given slope and a point or 2 points, and then we're going to do parallel and perpendicular. All right, so we're going to be writing an equation given the slope, y-intercept, 2 points, and we're going to write the equations as a parallel and perpendicular given to a given line. All right, so let's review. Remember slope, which is our symbol for m. We can remember it's rise over run, change in y over change in x. Graphically, we can visualize going up and over, down and left. But if we're given 2 points, it's the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. The only thing I would say about this is be consistent. So in other words, if you're going to go with the second y minus the first y, make sure you do the second x minus the first x. Don't change it up because you're going to get the wrong sign and the wrong answer if you do. So you want to be remaining consistent. I will always do second minus first. You can do first minus second, but that's totally up to you. Again, you're going to see me do second minus first. Okay, slope-intercept form is when you're given the slope and the y-intercept, hence the name. Place of the graph crosses the x-axis. So you might see this written as 0b as well. Okay, so our form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is the y-intercept. Remember that x and y are representing all those infinitely many points that are on the line. So we want to make sure we understand we're not going to put values in when we write the equation. We may do it for other things, but when we're writing our final equation, there's never any numbers in for x and y. Now, point slope is another form. Again, we're given point and slope, hence the name. And some people use this. It's not as prevalent as y equals mx plus b. So m is your slope here. And x1, y1 is a point on the line. Most people don't use this. It is totally up to you. You can use that in lieu of y equals mx plus b based on what you're given. It doesn't matter to me, whichever one is more comfortable for you. Just make sure you read the directions because it may write it in a certain form. Okay, standard form looks like this. This is the form that we're usually given if we're going to try and solve and get y by itself so that we can graph. A, B, and C are just numbers. What they would refer to as constants. Okay. We're just going to put here numbers. Usually they're like integers, numbers without fractions or decimals. Okay. All right, so let's start with just something, working our way up to some things that are more difficult. So we're going to find, our first question is, what is the slope between these two lines? So we're going to use our formula. Okay, so I'm going to do second minus first over second minus first. Okay, so I get 1 over negative 5. Okay, if I needed to graph that, that means whatever point, I'm going to go up 1 and left. I'm going to go up 1, left 5 to get to another point on the line. Okay, so in this particular problem, we want our answer in slope-intercept, which means I want my answer in y equals mx plus b form. So here's our slope, and these are x and y. So we need to find b. Okay, because to write the equation of a line, you need m and you need b in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to use our form, and I'm going to put 2 in for m. I'm going to put negative 1 in for x, And I'm going to put 3 in for y. And I'm going to solve for b. Okay, so 3 equals 2 times negative 1 plus b. So 3 equals negative 2 plus b. Okay, so add the 2, we get 5 equals b. All right, you're not finished. Just because you found where a graph crosses the y-axis does not mean you're done. You need to write the equation. So we're going to use y equals 2x. So remember, you're going to put in m and b. And there you go. Okay, so you need the slope and you need the y-intercept to write the equation. All right, so I want you to pause the video and try the next one on your own. All right, let's see how you did. Or next two, actually. There we are. Okay, so the first one was 4 is equal to b. Now, oh my goodness. I am so sorry. Okay, so if you notice, this is 0, 4, which is actually the y-intercept. So we really didn't have to do any work. If you notice, your b is 4. But a lot of times we don't recognize that, and that's okay. So you can just use your form, solve for b, and then write the equation. Okay, so the same second one, number 4, I got negative 34. And at any time, if I make a mistake, it's totally okay. Just let me know, and we'll correct it in the next day in class. All right, let's try the next one. Here we have an equation with the line that passes through the 2 points, and we want to write it in y equals mx plus b form. So here's the problem. Remember, we need slope and y-intercept, and we have neither. So we have to do a little bit more work. So our first thing is that we're going to need to find slope. Okay, remember that's our m. So here are our 2 points. So we're going to do negative 8 minus negative 2. Over 6 minus negative 3. Okay, so I get negative 6 over 9. And make yourself easier, guys. Let's always reduce those. So I'm going to get negative 2 over 3. That's a lot easier to work with, especially if we're trying to do some computational work. Okay, so there's our slope. Oh, I apologize. I am so sorry. All right, now we have 2 points. We don't need both of them now. We need to pick one. I don't care which one you pick. You're going to get the same answer either way. I'm just going to choose the first one. And we're going to do y equals mx plus b. So here's our x, here's our y. So negative 2 equals negative 2/3 times negative 3 plus b. So I'm going to get negative 2 equals 2 plus b. So negative 4 is equal to b by subtracting 2. So now we're ready to write the equation. We're going to have y equals, we're going to input our slope, and then our y-intercept. Okay, remember, x and y are always part of our equation, so we're never going to put numbers in unless we are doing a computation, never in when we're writing the equation. Okay? All right, let's try this another problem. These are all different problems that have to relate to either y equals mx plus b or some writing equations. Okay? All right, so we need to find the slope and the y-intercept. Basically, get y by itself. All right, so I'm going to subtract the 3x. So 4y minus 16 is equal to negative 3x. And I'm going to add 16. For some reason, I never leave us enough room here. So 4y is equal to negative 3x plus 16. And then we're going to divide everybody by 4. Everybody gets 1. So y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 4. Okay, now we're not done. Again, I never leave us enough room. Let's make that a little smaller. There we go. Okay, so it wants the m and the slope. So we need slope and y-intercept. Negative 3/4 is our slope. And the y-intercept. Now, if they want you to state the y-intercept, I'm not just going to write 4. I'm going to write 0, 4. because we're going to write it as an ordered pair, make ourselves sound intelligent. Okay, all right, so I feel like we've gone over a bunch of these things. Hopefully they ring a bell with you and it's like, oh yeah, and we're okay. If not, please let me know. All right, now this is where people struggle with the vertical and horizontal. So remember, vertical is about intersecting the x-axis. Okay, so if I plotted this, I'm going to draw a nice graph here because I'm also going to use it for the next one. Okay, so here's over 8, down -4. Okay, so I'm just going to put that point there. And I'm going to draw a vertical line through that. Okay, so what axis is that intersecting? It's intersecting the x, which means this is going to be x equals. And it's intersecting the x-axis at 8, which is the x-coordinate of the vertical line, the x-coordinate of our point. So there's our answer. Now if we do the next one, let's give it purple, over 4 up 3, and we want to draw a horizontal line. There it is. Best I can do. I guess I better move that down. There we go. Okay, notice it's intersecting the y-axis, which means that this is going to be a y equals, and the value that it's intersecting is at 3. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Sometimes drawing a picture will help you wrap your head about what you're trying to find. And I find that to be very helpful for myself. All right, so let's just review for a moment. We did a lot here. We have our slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We found y equals mx plus b, given the point and the slope. We found y equals mx plus b when we're given 2 points. We found slope and y-intercept if we're given standard form, and writing a vertical and horizontal line. All right, let's go on to parallel and perpendicular. So remember, parallel lines have the same slope, different y-intercepts. Perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. Okay, so it means that we're going to flip it over and change the sign. Different, or they could have the same y-intercepts, but they don't have to. Okay, so the y-intercept could be the same number or they can be different numbers. It just depends on the problem. But the key is to flip the slope and change its sign. Okay, so key is slope. We need the slope out of the line that's given to us to use to figure out the parallel and the perpendicular. Okay, so whatever line I'm giving you, you want to find the slope of that line. Okay, so we're going to get y by itself here and find the slope. That's the first step. Okay, so I'm going to go 6y equals negative x plus 12. And then I'm going to divide everybody by 6. So y equals, remember there's always a 1 in front of that x. Okay, which means the slope of our perpendicular is negative 1/6. So here's our slope. Here's our x and y. Okay, so we have all the information we need to be able to write the equation. I'm just going to move this over because I always seem to run out of room. All right, so now we have y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we're going to put in 4 for y, negative 1/6 for x, for m, and negative 3 for x plus b. Okay, so we're going to solve that. So 4 equals 3/6 becomes 1/2 plus b. So subtract 1/2, you're going to get 3.5. Okay. So now we have the information we need. -1/6 x plus 3.5. And again, I did that computation in my head, so if I'm wrong, please let me know. Okay, so notice the only thing I need out of this line is my slope. Once I figure out that slope, we're done with that line. Just kind of like, okay, I'm done with you. Put you over on the side. I may need you. I don't think I need you anymore. All right. Okay, so let's do our perpendicular. We're going to use the same line, but I'm going to practice getting y by itself anyway. So x plus 6y equals 12. 6y equals -x plus 12. Y equals -1/6x plus 2. Okay, so our slope of the line that we have is -1/6. So the perpendicular slope is going to be, we're going to flip it over. So it becomes 6/1 or 6. And we're going to change the sign. So it's negative, so now it becomes positive. So that's the slope I'm going to use. So we're going to use 6, and we're going to use -3/4. Okay, so we're going to put 4 equals -3. Let me rewrite that again. 6 times -3 plus b. 4 equals -18 plus b. Add 18, so that's 22 equals b. So our line is y equals 6x plus 22. All right. Okay, so again, we looked at it visually, and we can look at it again when we meet on our graphs, that we can see the parallel and perpendicular, and it's a great way to check to see if you did it right. All right, so I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try the next two on your own and see if you get the correct answer. See if you get the same answers as me. If we do, we're good. If we don't, either I'm wrong or you're wrong. Might be me, might be you, so we can check and see where we did wrong. All right, let's see how we did. Okay, so I came up with 2x minus 3 for the parallel, and y equals -1/2 x plus 7 for the perpendicular. Well, hopefully you got those answers. Awesome. If not, let's find out where we went wrong. Okay. All right, guys. Hopefully this cleared up questions about writing parallel and perpendicular lines and writing equations. And if not, please ask questions. Otherwise, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you again real soon.